the last few months you were here, it was almost like you opened Pandora's box and you prophesied the future. And now it's happening right before our very eyes. The Vice President herself already declaring Uniteam was only good for the 2022 elections. First, what do you make of the Vice President giving that opinion? Because to be fair, she's been silent for many months.
Nitong mga nakaraang buwan, I think she was trying to balance the attacks of her allies and families kay President Bongbong with her maintaining her position as Secretary of the Department of Education, which is the biggest department in our government. Lalo na sa context na nawala yung kanyang hundreds of millions of intelligence and confidential fund. So to maintain her position, not only in government but in the public sphere, she has to maintain that very important position. Kung sasama siya sa mga atake ng kanyang kapatid, ng kanyang kaalyado, ng kanyang tatay, talaga matatanggal siya sa DepEd. So it's also partly survival nito nakaraang mga buwan. Pero ngayon, mukhang tapos na yung moment na yun. Siya mismo inamin niya na wala na yung Uniteam. Medyo nakakatawa lang dahil usually yung mga coalition na yan, they survive until matapos yung term. Dito, inaamin niya para lang sa eleksyon. No? Medyo very revealing yun. Hindi lamang tungkol doon sa coalition, kundi doon sa uri ng ating political system. Na very cynical yung ganyong klaseng statement. Pero katulad ng ating pinag-usapan last time, medyo marami nangyari since then. Halimbawa, just a few weeks back, bago pumunta ng Brunei si President Bongbong Marcos, nagsalita siya 3 times. Nagsimula sa Philippine Military Academy na binanatan niya yung blatant destabilization. Tapos after no, nagsalita rin siya ulit twice tungkol sa destabilization. Ibig sabihin, inaamin na niya yung dati pa nating sinasabi o dati pang nakikita ng maraming tao na nangyayari. May destabilization talaga na nangyayari. Kaya tingin ko kasama yon dito sa context ng pag-amin ni Vice President Sara Duterte na wala na or matagal nang wala yung Uniteam. Kaya yung isang elephant in the room ay totoo ba na parating na yung ICC? Kaya ganyan yung posisyon ng Vice President. Totoo ba na yung sinasabi nating existential issue para sa mga Duterte ay almost here na? Kaya ganyan yung kanyang public statement.
Or do you think ganyan ang kanyang public statement? Because when you look at the surveys, if Vice President Sara Duterte were to run for president today, hands down she would win. In other words, she knows that she's number 1 in the surveys. To her political capital, the Duterte political capital is still strong. Do you believe that's one of the reasons why she's now speaking out?
Posible, Karen, no? Dahil palating yung midterm election, kailangan na may magli-lead ng tinatawag nilang bagong oposisyon. Dahil yung mga allies nila sa Mindanao, sa Visayas, ay natatanggal na. So somebody has to consolidate yung kanilang nawawalang base. At ang pwedeng gumawa niyan ay yung Vice President. Pwedeng yun yung isang layunin. Habang meron mataas pa yung kanyang ratings, ay i-consolidate na niya yung kanyang political base. Pero Karen, kung titignan mo, bumababa siya. Itong nakaraang survey, ito yung biggest drop ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Bumaba siya ng -15 sa kanyang bailiwick sa Visayas. Bumaba siya ng -11 sa Balance Luzon. -3 sa NCR. Ito yung first time na mas malaki yung kanyang pagbaba kaysa sa presidente. Ito nakaraang mga survey. So, nagsisimula na rin siyang bumaba. So, tingin ko, tama ka, na bago tuluyang mawala yan, ay i-consolidate na niya. I-consolidate na niya yung nawawala na yan. Pero ikalawa, meron ding lumalabas na mas mataas sa kanya. Sa mga survey din, either kapantay niya o mas mataas sa kanya ng konti, si Senator Raffy Tulfo. Na sinasabi niya na wala siyang balak tumakbo sa 2028. Ibig sabihin, mataas na siya, deny pa niya na tatakbo siya. So paano pa pag nag-admit na siya, tatakbo siya? So nakikita rin ni Sara na hindi lang siya bumababa, merong umaakyat. Merong umaakyat. So she has to do something No? She has to do something disruptive. Hindi lang yung tahimik. So this could be part of that strategy na ini-scale up na niya yung sarili niya as the leader of her political base. Na in the past, itong past few months, ay parang in limbo. No? Kaya survival fight ito dahil meron na rin umaangat na kapantay o mas mataas sa kanya.
Okay. Now, I wanted to ask you, Professor, the outright defense of Vice President Sara Duterte and former President Duterte when it comes to Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Recently, they described and they accused the government of overkill in issuing the warrant against Kibuloy, right? So you have the Philippine Coast Guard, J. Tariela, actually throwing shade at the Dutertes by saying, why don't you, in effect, I'm rephrasing, you remained silent when it came to the West Philippine Sea, dinudubog tayo ng China, and then you speak out and defend Kibuloy because of what you call an overkill. So that's trending right now on Twitter or X. Do you see their defense of Kibuloy as part of the consolidation?
Well, nakita mo naman, Karen, na ang ginawang administrator ni Kibuloy ay si ex-President Duterte. Ibig sabihin, very, very open naman yung kanilang relasyon. At tingin ko, yung pagiging administrator ni Digong ay patunay na yung resources ni Kibuloy at yung resources ng mga Duterte ay magkakaugnay. So hindi lang to simple friendship eh. It's about resources, it's about political base. Kaya nakakatawa na sasabihin ni ex-President Duterte na naglunsad ng Operation Double Barrel o Tokhang na itong nangyari ito na pag-serve ng warrant is an overkill. No?
Correct.
Para sa isang tao na may kaso sa International Criminal Court ng crimes against humanity. Ng libo-libo na yung mga pinatay. Tapos tatawagin niya ito na overkill. At ang nakakatawa ka rin, dito sa ganitong pag-serve ng warrant, ang na-water cannon ay yung mga pulis. Ngayon lang ako nakakita na nagsaserve ng warrant pero water cannon. No? Imagine mo. So, ito talaga ay medyo brazen, itong mga statements na ito. Kaya hindi mo masisisi si Commodore Tariela for saying these things. Ang daming mahalagang issues sa ating bayan. Binabanggit mo kanina, yung Pogo na parang kabute na all over the place pero hindi ma-monitor ng gobyerno. Tapos itong aggression ng China na nag-i-scale up. Tapos itong pag-serve ng warrant, sobrang laking issue, an overkill. Kaya medyo malabo yung kanilang mga statement. Pero ang problema, sumama rin si Vice President Sara Duterte. No? Aasahan mo yan kay Digong eh. Dahil talagang gumuhit na siya. Pero sa ngayon, ito yung bagong pagguhit mismo ng Vice President. Ito sa bagay, huwag mong kalimutan, Karen, ng mga rally ni Kibuloy sa Liwasang Bonifacio, pumunta si Vice President Sara Duterte. Habang sumisigaw yung followers ni Kibuloy na ibagsak si Presidente Bongbong Marcos at wakasan yung kanyang pamumuno, nandun si Vice President Sara sa gitna ng lahat ng yon at nagbibigay ng suporta kay Kibuloy. Kaya tingin ko it's more than just friendship. Maraming mga ugnayan sila, lalo na sa usapin ng resources at saka political base.
Okay, so let's talk about the survival of President Marcos Jr. Let's talk about a few things. Number one, he's being criticized right now for this bagong Pilipinas, parang malapanatang makabayan. Alam ko yun? Ang tanong ko, is this good for him? Frankly, sir.
Tingin ko sa balance sheet ay hindi makakatulong. Dahil
Where's the play? Yun ang tanong ko. You've seen this so long, Prof. What's the play? Why did he have to spend time on this?
Well, in one sense kasi, kinakailangan niyang mag-create ng political project na from the start parang wala. Sabi nga ni Vice President Sara Duterte,
after ng election, wala na yung unity team. So ano yung kanyang political project which will define his government? Halimbawa, may Philippines 2000 si FPR. Merong era para sa mahirap si President Estrada. Merong Strong Republic si Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. Merong walang mahirap kung walang korap, walang wangwang si Pinoy. Merong Tokhang si Digong, no? Ano yung KBBM? Kaya ginawa niya yung bagong Pilipinas. Ang problema, bakit kailangan pang pumasok sa him Bakit kinakailangan pumasok sa Panatang Makabayan? Kaya medyo nadadivert pa yung attention at pwedeng part ng kanyang mga hindi naman kalaban ay i-criticize siya dahil dito. Tapos halimbawa, kung pinanood mo yung Independence Day celebration kahapon, medyo matatawa ka dahil mismo yung mga government officials ay hindi alam yung hymn. No? Hindi sila nagli-lip sing, yung presidente lang. So, ibig sabihin, nakaka-divert ito doon sa mga mahalagang usapin katulad ng Pogo, katulad ng Chinese aggression, katulad ng destabilization. Ang kailangan ngayon ng presidente is to unite the country around his political project, around Bagong Pilipinas. Ang nangyayari, itong maliit na bagay ng him, nakaka-distract pa ng attention. Kaya tingin ko sa balance sheet, baka hindi nakakatulong.
Now, you've articulated that so well, and really your memory when it comes to all of the legacy statements and projects of the past presidents. But I think with Duterte, is it right to say, to be fair, it's also build, build, build?
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Pero malaking bahagi ng build ay continuation nung na-build nung kanyang predecessor. Kung titignan mo yung mga projects nila, marami ron ay nasimulan in the previous time. Although pinackage na nila na kanila. So tama ka, may build, pero malaking bahagi ng build ay continuity ng mga projects na nagawa na before. No?
Okay. I want to ask you, what does President Marcos Jr. need now? Because recently he's called for a consolidation of several parties, right? To unite. I mean, clearly without the Duterte group there. But what does he need now, midterm, to strengthen his administration?
Well, long overdue na kasi yung ruling coalition. Dapat ginawa yan immediately after the election, di ba? Either meron kang ruling party or ruling coalition. So long overdue siya ng by 2 years. So, tama yung ginagawa niya in terms of building a ruling coalition, lalo na papunta sa midterm election. Pero hindi lang yun. Para suportahan yung kanyang mga political bills or mga policies. No? Halimbawa, noong nakaraan yung Chacha. Walang ruling coalition Kaya parang orphan yung Chacha. Walang nagki-claim na sa kanila yan. No? So, posible na parating na gano'n, meron siyang mga projects na gusto niyang dalhin ng ruling coalition. Pero immediately, ang habol ng ruling coalition is to win sa midterms. Dahil dyan siya pinaka-powerful. Kung hindi siya mananalo ng majority dyan, delikado yung kanyang governance. Kaya mahalaga na itong ruling coalition na ito ay may panalo yung kanyang slate. No? Yung slate going into the midterm. Yun yung main purpose niya. At saka ma-marginalize yung kanyang kalaban. Na sinisimula na halimbawa sa mga mayors, sa Cebu, governor sa Davao, governor sa Bohol. So nagsisimula na yan na hindi lang ito one track, multiple track ito Paano mo i-undermine ang iyong kalaban? Paano mo papalakasin yung sarili mong slate? At paano mo aayusin yung iyong ruling coalition? Tingin ko lahat ito sabay-sabay nangyayari together with Bagong Pilipinas. No? Kaya dapat tignan natin ito as multi-track project ng presidente.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead. It's one of the reasons that Wen Garcia resigned.
Yes. Ang problema, Karen, ay dahil matagal na wala ang mga Marcoses, hindi nila sigurado kung sino yung politically loyal sa kanila. Halimbawa, dito sa midterm election, maraming papasok na ruling coalition. Sigurado ba nila yung loyalties na mga yan? Halimbawa, yung isang political party, yung isasama nun sa slate or the Senate, ay karamihan critical sa gobyerno. Pero sasama sila sa administration slate. So, pag nanalo ba yan, mananatili ba sa kanya yan? Or pagkapanalo, katulad ng sinabi ni Vice President Sara Duterte, ay tapos na yung coalition, tapos na yung unity. So, yun yung problema niya dahil hindi ko sigurado sino yung organically kanya talaga in terms of political loyalty. Dahil manggagaling yan sa iba't ibang coalition, iba't ibang partido, saan ba yung loyalty nila? Ngayon lang, para manalo, dahil napakalakas ng presidente sa midterm? Or after, ay maghahanap na sila ng, sabi mo nga kanina, ng frontliner for the next election, 2028. No? Kaya sabay-sabay yung nangyayari. Kaya hindi siya ganun kasimple.
Okay. Now, interestingly is, the last time I interviewed you, you said that, I'm rephrasing it, but you said something like, Vice President Duterte should resign from her cabinet post, right? You said that. Kumbaga, kung may kahihiyan pa or delikadesa, dapat mag-resign. Parang yun. And it didn't happen. So I want to ask you this. It's after that statement of Uniteam was good only for 2022, the president still keeps her at the Department of Education. The DepEd is the biggest budget, the most influential agency in the Philippines. What should President Marcos do? I mean, should he keep her there? What's the play? Why is he keeping her there? If this were Duterte, as we've seen it, he removed former Vice President Leni Robredo immediately.
Yes. Well, dahil nanalo si President Bongbong Marcos on the single issue of unity and Uniteam, so gusto niyang i-maintain a semblance of that with the Vice President. Yung Vice President naman, dahil nawala yung kanyang hundreds of millions of intelligence at saka confidential fund, wala siyang gagamitin sa kanyang political ambitions in the future. So natitira is the DepEd. So may ganong klaseng convergence ng objectives ng Presidente at saka ni Vice President Sara. Ang problema, hindi siya sustainable. Inamin na nga ni Vice President Sara Duterte, after the election, wala na yung Uniteam. So, the cat is out of the bag. At lalo na nakatulong yung statement o yung interview ni First Lady Lisa Marcos na talagang she told it as it is, no? Sinabi niya na
yung kay Anthony Taferna.
Yung sinasabi natin, sinabi ng First Lady, no, na practically kailangan mo na mag-resign dahil wala ka namang loyalty sa asawa ko. Kung ikaw ay secretary ng pinakamalaking departamento sa gobyerno, dapat meron kang political loyalty. Diba? So, yung sinasabi natin much earlier, sinabi much later ni First Lady Marcos. At tingin ko, hindi yan loss kay Vice President Sara. Ang sagot lang niya is a lame explanation na huwag ka na sumali dyan. Kami na lang ng asawa mo mag-uusap. Diba? Ganon. Dahil nakita rin ni Vice President Sara na gustong i-maintain ni Presidente Bongbong Marcos a semblance of unity. Ang problema, even that semblance is gone by now. Even yung semblance na yun.
It sounds like this is a game of who blinks first, right? Who blinks first? So it doesn't look like the Vice President will resign. Not at all. She'll wait to be fired. And then she would gain, how do you say that? Maaawa ang supporters. So, where does that leave President Marcos Jr.? She has a secretary who said Uniteam is over, but if he fires her, does he lose some kind of political capital there?
Well, definitely, may mawawala dyan, no? Pero, katulad nga lang sinabi ko kanina, hindi rin nasa best of shape si Vice President Sara dahil nagsisimula siyang bumaba in previous surveys. Siguro humahanap lang ng timing si Presidente. Ano ba yung opportune time para hingiin yung kanyang resignation? Si Vice President Sara naman, katulad ng sinasabi mo, Karen, pwedeng naghihintay siya na para siya ay magiging martir. Di ba yun na yung statement niya dito sa mga tinanggal na mga kaalyado niya na minamarginalize na sila, political persecution at overkill at saka etc. Mas sharp pa nga yung statement ni former human rights lawyer Harry Roque. Ang sinasabi niya, wala ito, papunta na sa dictatorship at kinakailangan na ng people power. So meron kang iba't ibang poll. Yung poll ni Sara at yung poll ng mga spokesperson ni Digong na talagang hindi lang gustong pabagsakin ang gobyerno through people power, no? Ay gusto na mag-withdrawal of support. So tingin ko ay nagdesisyon na si Vice President Sara na sasamahan na niya yung kanyang mga kaalyado at saka kapamilya. No, hindi na siya magpe-pretend na siya ay nasa gitna. Tingin ko paalis na siya ron sa pretension na yon sa kanyang statement.
May hulanong salita na ang ibig sabihin dito ay ang pagkakaisa. Bunyog Party List. Halika na, Bunyog Party List ka na. Halika na, Bunyog Party List ka na.
Sa susunod, Ang atinang suportahan, Bunyog Party List, nagtataguyod ng katotohanan, lumalaban para sa bayan.